Hey everyone. In today's video, I have two quick reports to show you guys. One is from our Prime Minister Mark Carney, summarizing his trip to Asia, and another is relating to Canadians living abroad. I wanted to show you the second one because it made me realize how many Canadians are actually living overseas. And yes, I am one of them as of right now. It also means that as of right now, I'm probably over the Pacific somewhere on my way overseas, or probably already landed. I'm not very good when it comes to time zone conversion yet. This also means that there will probably be a few days break after this one, until I can get my workstation up and running. I tried to schedule as many videos as I could before I left, but there's only so many I could create with my limited schedule. It shouldn't take that long though. You'll probably be seeing videos from me on this upcoming weekend, if everything goes well. But in the meantime, at the end of this video, I'll have a few content creators you can follow and watch over the next few days. Today's backdrop is a photo I took last month in September, when the weather was better and not our signature rainy days. I thought it would be suitable for this video, because it is going to be my last video created in Vancouver, but I'm excited to see what I can create moving forward. Alright, let's get started with Prime Minister Mark Carney's summary on his Asia trip.
To find solutions to current challenges and to identify areas for cooperation and growth in advance of that meeting. This morning, I met with the President of Chile, where we signed an updated Canada-Chile strategic partnership, deepening cooperation in critical minerals, clean energy, wildfire management, and digital technologies. Chile is the world's largest copper producer. It has the world's largest reserves of copper and lithium, and it wants to work with Canada's sophisticated mining and infrastructure investors to develop sustainably those resources and the supply chains. This progress in the last few days builds on the momentum from earlier this week on the margins of the ASEAN Summit, where I met with President Marcos of the Philippines, and he and I agreed to initiate negotiations on a new free trade agreement between our two nations, Canada and the Philippines, with a goal of concluding it by this time next year. In all of my meetings with the ASEAN leaders, I heard a consistent message. Canada wants to do more with Canada.
Did he mean to say Asia wants to do more with Canada? I'm not sure if that was incorrect or if I'm missing something. Either way, it shows that not just our Prime Minister, but Canada as a whole, is acknowledging that we need to start talking to other nations outside of our dysfunctional neighbor to the south. I've said this for months now. Canada needs to seriously consider trade partners that we never relied on before, or may not even have thought about in the past. We are way too intertwined with the United States. We're even dependent on them in a lot of ways, and it's clear that the United States cannot be trusted anymore. I know we can't cut 100% ties with the US, it's unrealistic. But Canada and Canadians need to really start opening their minds to the rest of the world. Europe, Asia, Latin America, every region. And the one thing that we have that the United States does not is our reputation. The comments in this channel prove that. We have support from people across the globe watching what the US is doing in Canada and calling it out as well. So I'm glad these talks are actually happening. I don't expect results overnight. That is completely unrealistic. And anyone who thinks a trade deal can get done in a couple hours is very short-sighted.
And to that end, we agreed to accelerate the Canada-ASEAN free trade negotiations targeting completion by next year. And for reference, ASEAN is 20% of the global economy. That new free trade agreement, when it's completed, will create jobs for Canadian workers in sectors such as critical minerals, clean tech, agri-food, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing, while lowering prices for Canadian consumers in goods from electronics to clothing. This week, I also met with CEOs of multinational companies, investors, and heads of sovereign wealth funds from across Asia, with a mission to catalyze new investment into Canada. With the Minister of National Defence, I visited the Hanwha Ocean Shipyard, which is one of two finalists for the Canadian Patrol Submarine Project. This project will protect Canadians, will help protect our allies, and we will design it so it provides enormous ongoing investment and jobs in Canada. In Kuala Lumpur, we announced funding to expand the BlackBerry Cyber Security Center of Excellence into an international hub for cyber intelligence and security innovation. Witnessed Malaysia Airlines sign a deal with CAE to purchase Canadian-built flight simulator, and a testament to Canada's ever-growing footprint in the region.
It's also about getting the region to learn more about Canada and what we have to offer. When I lived overseas on my first stint, A lot of locals where I was based didn't really know much about Canada. Some of them even thought Canada and the United States were somehow the same country. I had to firmly correct them, but I do not blame them either. We're an ocean away, and when people hear North America, they automatically think United States. My point here is that it needs to change, because we might find that the neighbor across the street might actually be a better long-term friend than the dysfunctional neighbor we have right next door. Now that leads me into my next report, and this one talks about Canadians living abroad. The story is a few days old, and yes, we already know the Blue Jays lost. But I still wanted to bring it up because there are Canadians all over the world right now, living overseas, working overseas, and they're just as proud as ever to be Canadian.
You think you're tired keeping up with the Jays in this World Series run? Try being a fan on the other side of the world. Watch parties have been popping up around the globe to support and cheer on the Toronto Blue Jays. So while locations here in Canada have been bursting with Blue Jays fans gathering, some international cities are hosting parties of their own. We were curious what they look like. So joining us now from Hong Kong is James Thompson Sakrani. He's the vice president of the Canadian Club Hong Kong and organizer of the Blue Jays watch parties in his city. Good morning and welcome.
Hey, Anne-Marie, thanks for having me.
So these games are starting at 8 a.m. for you. First of all, how are you feeling this morning now that we've tied up the series?
You know what? I'm feeling great. Everyone I was with is just thrilled.
Yeah, I can imagine. Tell me about trying to watch these parties during the daytime. We're all complaining about how tired we are because they start at 8 p.m.
It's been tough. Look, I'll be honest with you. We're not a city that has sports bars in the best of days, let alone convincing the few places we do have to open up at 8 a.m. Has not been easy. We've actually used a lot of private members clubs that have their own venues, their own spaces. And so thankfully that's worked.
Now, I have experienced this myself the last time I lived overseas. Trying to watch a Canucks game in Asia means that you're waking up at 8 in the morning or even earlier for road games just to be able to watch it live. It's a weird feeling because I'm so used to watching the games at 4:30 or 7 o'clock at night. But when you're living overseas, you got to do what you got to do if you want to watch your home team.
But it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Okay, so tell me what the atmosphere looks like. So you're there in the morning. Are you eating like breakfast food and you've got the TV up? What does it look like? And are people in their gear?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been very lucky. A lot of people have Blue Jays gear here in Hong Kong. I think you're seeing some pictures on your screen of some of our folks. And yeah, it's a breakfast. You know, we've had meals. We have coffee. I have seen maybe 2 or 3 beers going around at a few of these, but that's been about it.
Hey, from the pictures that you're sharing with us, there's a large contingent. How many people show up for these watch parties?
You know, we've been seeing in the range of sort of 20 to 40 people generally. Hong Kong is actually a city of approximately 300,000 Canadians.
This right here is the reason why I wanted to show this clip. And the number is just for Hong Kong. Now, yeah, some of them might be dual nationals, just like what we see in other countries, including the US. But think about all the other places Canadians are living around the world. I bring this up because in my video where I talked about moving overseas, I ended up hearing from a ton of Canadians living abroad. Some from Europe, some from Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and even a Canadian living in South Africa. The key thing every single one of them told me is that with everything going on with their neighbors, they have never been more proud to be holding a Canadian passport. Even they have changed their shopping habits, and they're avoiding the US products and subscriptions. So this boycott is not just happening on Canadian soil, it's happening globally. And on top of that, they're also educating people around them about what's happening in North America so that others around the world understand why this US boycott is happening.
So I know there's been a lot more going on that hasn't been with us. I'm hearing about coffee shops and people's homes and all sorts of places.
Listen, your love of the Jays must run really deep if you've taken it with you around the world. Where did it start for you?
You know what? I was 4 years old in 1992. And so I think that probably was it. I had little mini bats with all the signatures of the players on them.
Nice. Oh, did you bring it with you?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's back home with my folks.
Okay, but you know it's safe.
At this point, yeah, I'd have to double check. But
Yeah, tell them not to throw it out. All right.
Now, I'll admit, I don't follow baseball the same way I follow hockey, but I would feel the exact same way if the Canucks ever made the finals again. And I kind of hope that happens in my lifetime. Please. But what this shows you is that Canadians abroad still hold their roots. They keep their Canadian ways, their thoughts, their traditions, even when they're halfway around the world. And when it comes to defending their country, they're ready to do so from abroad as well. And if anything were to ever happen in Canada that needs citizens to step up, you can sure as hell bet that I'd be on the first flight back. I will come home to stand shoulder to shoulder with Canadians and defend the Maple Leaf. And I'm sure many Canadians around the world feel the same way as well. So if you're Canadian living overseas and you're watching this right now, please reach out to me. I really want to get more feedback and perspective from Canadians living abroad, especially now that I'm in that group again. I would love to do a series of interviews to get insight from the whole situation with our neighbors and how it feels being viewed from wherever you are in the world. So reach out to me if you're Canadian living overseas. Now, I figured this is the perfect moment to start introducing my audience to other content creators since I'll be taking a few days off. These content creators share the same goal from both sides of the border. Jason from Wrong Enough to Know Better actually did something similar in one of his recent videos. And he also announced that he's moving abroad, so we have another thing in common. Although I am a little sad I didn't make the list in this description. Jason, if you're watching this, I'm just kidding. I appreciate the shout out in your video. Now, this list of content creators I'm about to share are all creators I have spoken to personally. Some of them I talk to on a daily basis, some just here and there, and then some was just quick conversations. But they are all established channels. So we should not have any surprises like the startup channel that I recommended before, which I still apologize for. To start it off, I'm going to do it in batches of 4, and these are in no particular order. First batch, Jason from Wrong Enough to Know Better. Josh from The Enemy From Within. Klaus Kellerman, POV, and the Bill Kelly Podcast. And don't worry, I'll have links to all these channels in the description below. Then we have Naughty Nana Does, Todd Maffin, Lena Down Under, and The Planet D. In the last group, All Shorts, Bello the Ranch, House of L, and Greg the Uber driver out of Florida, though he's primarily on TikTok, but I'll leave a link to his TikTok page. Each of these channels I do follow, and some of our content does overlap, but we share the same overall goal and the same message. I'm far from being an expert in anything. I'm not a politics, trade, or economics expert. Klaus and Elle are fantastic at those subjects. And Josh, Greg, and Bell, they are great at showing us the real facts from south of the border. Each of these content creators have their own style and their own approach. And yeah, sometimes we might not agree on everything. But like I said, we share the same overall goal. Every creator I listed is just an independent everyday person who, like me, decided they want to get their voice out. We do not have big sponsors. We do not have big networks backing us. We're just everyday citizens like all of you watching this. A few of the creators in that list have even talked about forming a network of independent creators who can collaborate together while still staying free to speak their mind. I am 100% in on this idea, and I'll be thinking of ways to make it happen. Now, there are more creators out there beyond that list that I just gave you, but I wanted to start off with the ones that I have personally spoken with already. And I'm sure as the days and weeks go by, that list is probably going to grow. So while I'm still getting settled in, and while my streak of posting every single day since April is unfortunately going to end, you will still have plenty of other creators to watch in the meantime. I should be back online by the weekend, maybe early next week, unless my internet installation and my PC rebuild goes sideways. But either way, you now have a long list of like-minded creators to follow while I get set up. I want to thank every single one of my 103,000 subscribers for helping this channel reach this point. And the next video you see from me will be from my new location. Just a bit of a hint, our Prime Minister Mark Carney was just there. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to help get this message out to more people, and share it with your friends and family as well. And if you're still here and you want to see more of my other videos, check out the other ones that are showing up on your screen now. If you're still watching at this point, I sincerely thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.